Now, if I were to say to you prog rock, you might think of the likes of Pink Floyd or Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Well, prog rock and allied rock is very much alive and well in 2022. And to prove the point, London Prog Gigs are proud to present a Sunday in September 2022, an all-day festival of the best in modern progressive music. Here to tell us more is Chris Parkins. And I first asked Chris if they'd come back again this year because last year proved so successful.
Last year's was a success, Ian. It was a real lot of fun. I mean, last year's was one of the first big-ish musical events that we had at the Bedford anyway, but there weren't that many musical events going on. It's not that long ago since we were all either in lockdown or only eating outdoors, or, you know, you could only go to a gig if you sat down and had a sausage roll. But Sunday in September last year was a sort of celebration of the end of that, and it was really, really good. So we thought, yeah, hey, we'll do it again.
How much planning goes into the day?
Oh, an awful lot of planning, as you'd expect. I mean, let's face it, everything that you see has been planned by somebody. A gig like this, you know, it's not as much as Woodstock, it's not as much as the Reading Rock Festival, but it is a day-long thing. I mean, the venues, you know, have gigs every single day, but nonetheless, every gig has to be planned out in advance. There's running times, there's booking the bands, there's all the bands have to make sure all of their band members are available and that they're practiced and ready to go. There's the technical aspect of it. There's the booking, there's the publicity side. So, yeah, there quite a lot goes into it, absolutely. Even for a, you know, let's face it, a relatively small one-day venture at a relatively small venue. I mean, there's only about 150 tickets for sale, so it's a small do, small but friendly and comfortable. It's not a hot, sweaty, standing venue at all. It's very relaxed, sit-down cabaret-style tables and chairs.
So let's have a look at who's on the bill this year. Let's start with Le Soir, who are described as art prog.
Yes, art prog. I mean, prog is a difficult thing to define anyway, let's face it. So people don't want to pigeon themselves into any particular idea. And there is a strong crossover between art rock and prog and progressive music. In fact, the day, a Sunday in September, is a celebration of progressive music, not prog rock. None of the bands on the bill are like each other. Having said that, Le Soir, who are on last, you could say they're headlining, but they certainly close the evening, are the nearest to what you might call a prog band, insofar as they do have. They're a rock band. They have a great stage show, a nice gender mix. They do have complex compositional structures and odd time signatures and things that you do associate with traditional prog music. They've come all the way over from Holland. They're doing a short tour, in fact, so they haven't come over just for this particular gig. But they are a rock band, but there's more to look at and more to listen to than you would think with sort of status quo plod type music.
Following on from what you've just said, EBB are described as genre-defying.
It's difficult to know with EBB. Certainly they are a group of 5 women and 1 bloke, and that makes them unusual in any genre of music. They have a history. They were in a band called Rock B. I don't suppose I can say that on word what they used to be. So they evolved themselves into a rock band in a progressive nature. Again, you would not see EBB and be reminded of early Genesis. It's just an entirely different type of thing. But it is progressive in their ideas, the music that they make, and again, they're just captivating to look at. You really don't see a lot of bands like EBB, and they cross genre. They fit in all sorts of places. They've supported some very, very big bands because bands think, wow, you know, that's amazing. We'll have them on the support. They haven't done a headline tour yet. I think they're working up to it. We're lucky to have them, actually, and they're coming all the way down from Scotland to just for this gig to see us in South London. We're lucky to have them.
And a UK exclusive, and my favourite band name, Downriver Dead Men Go.
It is a UK exclusive. They've never played in the UK before. They're also from the Netherlands, actually. I mean, they're going to make a loss coming over. They're doing it because they love the music and they want to play in England and they'd like to have a gig in London. I've personally followed them for a few years. Again, not a band that you would say you would recognise as being a 70s prog band. If anything, they're what they now call cinematic rock. They have a slow, almost mournful, but absolutely beautiful sound. It's captivating to listen to. You're not going to be getting up and dancing, but they have really beautiful, slow, mesmerising, as I say, they cinematic sound they have.
Now, we talked about how much planning goes into this, and of course, some things go wrong, and you have a late edition with Pearl-Handed Revolver.
Indeed, yes. We had a solo act called Maud the Moth, also from Scotland, who I really do hope to be able to put on a gig at some point. She wasn't able to do it. Things do change, and we did have to find a replacement act, and I'm very happy to get Pearl-Handed Revolver, who have played at the Bedford a number of times before. Again, I find myself again saying not a prog band. They are a blues rock band with progressive influences. Another band that you would see at all sorts of venues, playing with all sorts of different bands. They've got a great sound. The blackened psychedelic soul, I think at some point they called them. Another fascinating band to listen to, but definitely bluesy, progressive blues.
And finally, returning from last year's Sunday in September, The Gift.
Yes, The Gift actually returning up to a point, because although they were on the bill last year, they had one of their band members wasn't able to play, which means that The Gift as a full band didn't actually play last year. What we did have was the vocalist, Mike Morton, who was co-organising last year, played a set just with a pianist of tribute acts to Peter Gabriel, Peter Gabriel being a well-known rock star in his own right, but also the original lead singer of Genesis. So there's quite a proper progressive backstory there. But this year, The Gift are back as a full band, and they are prog adjacent, I like to call them. Yes, indeed, because they are a rock band with interesting things going on, rather than a full prog band. But fantastic musicians they are. I mean, their pianist is classically trained, has a whole classical music career. They're a great band to listen to, and it's great to have them not quite back because they didn't quite play last year. but The Gift are back on the bill, and they're possibly one of the best known unsigned, as it were, bands in this genre in the London area.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting and mixed bill. So when is it and how can we book?
It's on Sunday, the 18th of September, at the Bedford in Balham, the Bedford pub, I suppose it is. It's not a pub gig. The Bedford has its own music room, and a delightful music room it is. It's like Shakespeare's Globe. It's a really, really lovely, and they do good food there too. The doors open at 1:00. They do food there, so you can have lunch if you want to before you come in. You don't have to come for the entire day. There is a break in the afternoon, so there's a separate afternoon evening set. It's 20 quid to get in. You can pay at the door, or you can buy in advance, and frankly, it would be nice to buy in advance because it does save problems at the door. From on the web, wegottickets.com. It's quite easy, but as I say, if you don't want to pre-book, just come along and pay at the door.
Chris, I hope it's a huge success for you.
Thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate you giving me the chance to come onto your show.